what most agents get wrong is they do not realize that the day they get their insurance license is the day they open their very own business. So many agents don't think of that. Most agents get into this business. Why, Cody? Why do most people go get an insurance license?
Yeah, to make money.
Make money, right? Make money, maybe make an impact, sell insurance, learn about it. And that's fine. And that is definitely what we want you to do. We want to help you do more of that. But you're really, no matter where you take that license, you're opening your own business. And that business is Cody Askins Insurance, JoAnne Ray Insurance, whatever name you want to put on it. Even if it's, best value insurance, it doesn't matter. That's your business. That's your name. And that's your legacy.
Hey, what's up and welcome back to the channel. I got a special interview today. Someone I've been friends with and known for a very long time. Please welcome back Joanne Ray from Senior Marketing Specialist. Joanne, how are you?
Good morning. I'm great, Cody. How are you?
I am great. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So those are jumping in. I can promise you this will be a very in-depth interview. Joanne naturally always gives a ton of information and context. Her goal has always been to help agents and agency owners the best way she possibly can. She does a phenomenal job for that, ton of experience, and has really grown something big and special in the space. So Joanne, thank you for agreeing to jump on and share some of that today.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite things to do, to be able to get on and brag about our team and all that we do here. So I'm happy to be here.
Yes, no doubt about it. Thank you so much. Before we jump to your story and some of the cool things we're doing, I know at some point we'll talk about some different misconceptions in the industry and really educate our audience really well. For those who are jumping in, though, I want to mention, too, that as we're doing this, Joanne is Senior Marketing Specialist, and specifically Olivia Richardson, who's the Executive Director of Training and Education, which is a great title for her because she's always super educational. They have actually built a custom additional content called 4 Steps to go from agency to empire. So if at any point today you enjoyed this interview, you enjoyed listening to Joanne, and you enjoy this, or you just want to learn how to go from agency to empire, which frankly, who doesn't? The link is below for you to check out more information and more content from Senior Marketing Specialists. So Joanne, I'm assuming a lot of our audience knows you or knows who you are, but let's just act like for the next few minutes they don't.
Okay.
And I would love for you to share more about you and your story, and then we'll get into some of the amazing content today.
Yeah. So I was telling you earlier, I can do the 3-minute version or the 3-hour version. So we'll condense here for this morning's purposes. But so my quick story is I started off like a lot of people where this was an accident, being in the insurance industry. I went to school for business. I studied business. I knew I wanted to be a part of a business. Didn't know if it was going to be insurance, but I knew I wanted to be around business, and that office setting was just something that I always was kind of drawn to. So got this job right out of college, just gotten married. My husband had just gotten a job offer to move to Columbia from a little town up north where we first met. And we always knew that Columbia was where we wanted to end up, because to us, me growing up in a small, farming community, and then Mark spending most of his time in Kirksville, Missouri, Columbia was just kind of it. It was like the Mecca, if you will, for all the fun things, the shopping, the sports, and it was just a much bigger city than we'd ever been a part of. So took the opportunity, took the first job literally that I went in and talked to, which is meeting a gentleman by the name of Dan McNerney, which completely changed my life. Didn't know him from anybody. Said yes to the job because it was just going to be a job. And I told my husband, we'll do this for a while and then I'll figure out what I really want to do. And that was 34 years ago this year. So I think it's worked out okay. But I always tell anybody young, my own kids now getting into the workforce, or anybody coming into the workforce, it's not so much what you do, but it's who you're around and why you are doing what you're doing. So insurance, like I said, most people fall into this as a second career, third career, or they fall into it accidentally. We're trying to change that. We're trying to, which I can talk a little bit about later, but getting more and more people to come into this industry because it is such a noble profession. And I love everything about what we're doing as an industry. So it was a career organization only. We had 30, 40 captive career agents working mostly just Missouri and Illinois when I first started back in the early 90s. And then it was mid 90s, 94, 95, when Dan McNerney and I got an opportunity to hear about this thing called an FMO, which was new in our industry. There are other parts of the insurance sector that had worked with FMOs, but in the senior side, it really hadn't until Peter Nauert, who was the chairman of Pioneer Life Insurance. In another life, the two of you would have been great friends, Cody. He was very much a forward thinker like you are, way ahead of anybody in the insurance space when it comes to technology. And
Wow.
there wasn't social media when he was first building his company, but if there were, he would have been there right beside you. There's a lot of similarities. So he gave us our first start as an FMO. And we grew it from there. And now it's filled with, the most amazing people that I get to spend my day with. I get to surround myself with some of the most, intelligent, smart, creative, beautiful, talented, driven people. That the biggest thing that I think is our difference maker, Cody, is that we care. We talk a lot about insurance and Medicare around here, but mostly we talk about help and support and advice and whether it's helping each other or it's all the things that we do for the agent that we work with. So, we've grown to where now we work with several thousand agents across the country, all the Medicare products, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, then all the ancillary that comes with that, from final expense to dental to cancer to everything that somebody that's 65 plus on Medicare is going to need for their healthcare portfolio, we represent. So it's just been a lot of fun. And I feel like, even though, like I said, it's 34 years in this industry, I feel like we're just getting started. I feel like there's so much runway in front of us, not just our company, but our industry, people like you coming in and breathing new life and new energy and new creativity into this industry. It's just been a ton of fun to watch. And like I say, with this group around, I know it's going to be a lot of fun going forward.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's such an amazing introduction and history and story. I actually took a ton of notes that I'm going to kind of rifle through for a few minutes, if I may. And I can testify to one thing that's not really a question is your character and integrity and how much y'all do care. I'm ever since I met you in early 2014, I've known that, what you are doing and what you are doing is extremely impressive, and really good people that people can align with and work with, in a bigger way, which I want to testify to that for those that don't know you yet. I also want to mention too, like, what was it about business? You mentioned business. You wanted to study business. You wanted to be a part of business. What was it about business? And even this industry that really stood out for you? Was it something where you were exposed to business in general as a kid, or like, what was it about business and then later insurance?
Yeah. So to go back a few years, then my mom was a high school business teacher. And so she spent her career, and then I spent my summers with her visiting different businesses. She ran a program called OEA. I think it's called DECA in some schools. Basically, when her students were juniors or seniors in high school, she would place them into different jobs around the community. So her job, and I got to tag along, was to visit all the businesses around the community and kind of pair up, if you will, which student of hers would work best with which type of occupation and which type of business. And so I got kind of the bug, I think, if you will, by going around with her and seeing all these different businesses and office settings. And even though they all may have sounded very similar, I could tell going in, even as a kid, there's something different about each of them. Some of them felt, stale and boring and white and, white walls, white floors, very sterile. And some places seemed more fun. Some people, some places had more people that looked like they were enjoying what they were doing. Some were busy, and some were just sitting in front of computers or at their workstation. And so you kind of tell that there's this thing called culture and this thing called a vibe almost that you get when you walk in. And so I've always kind of had that. I didn't know that's maybe where that came from, but I want to be a place, I want to create a place here. And I feel like we definitely have that. When you walk in, you just feel good, whether you're a guest, an agent, or most importantly, one of our teammates and one of our agents coming in, that it's just a place that you feel like you're going to be able to make an impact while making an income. That's always I stole that from somebody. That's not mine, but I use
I'm
that.
giving you credit. I'm giving you
Okay.
credit.
Okay. Well, I figure I was told once if you say it 3 times, then you own it. So
Somebody else just said that recently, and then I heard them say it a 4th time, and they didn't even give credit
yeah.
anymore. They're like, I don't have to.
So it's okay. So it's mine. I'll share it with you. But I think that's a huge part of what our business is, agents get their license. We're going to talk about the business side of what an agent does. But if you take a step back and really look at this business further, it truly is a noble profession. And it truly is one of the only that has the intersection of I can make a big impact in my community, in my business, in other people's lives, and in the seniors, while making a very good income at the same time. And there's very few businesses that actually intersect as deeply in both of those. Some of the highest income earners I've ever known are in this industry, and some of the most philanthropic and charitable and self-aware people are in this industry. And that's usually probably not a correlation that you find in a lot of industries. So I think that's why we're so proud of what we do in our own company, but most importantly, when an agent works with us, we hope to share and bleed over some of that pride and that impact that they're making and help them do that. It's not just, a person getting an insurance license and then selling a product to somebody. It's so much more than that. So we love to be a part of that for the agent kind of every step of the way.
Right. Absolutely. Well, one thing I was thinking about too is you came from a small farming community.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people on our YouTube channel and around the world that can relate to starting from a big small town. Coach Bird even wrote a book, From Small Town to Big Dreams. And
ooh, I like that.
People in his small town kind of got offended by it and it didn't do well. But the concept is big, right? It's cool. And so it made me think, how does someone go from, like you did, small town? It's nothing like I came from a small town. It's nothing against the small town. It's just that a lot of times the individuals in a small town aren't dreaming big,
right?
Or at least conceived at not doing something big, even though they may be. How did you go from that to the Joanne Ray that we see today?
I think it's surrounding yourself with the right people, and it's surrounding yourself with the right environment. So, I was very lucky, like I said, the day I met Dan McNerney and decided to go on this journey of this career with him was one of the biggest defining moments in my career. And I can honestly say that because he is a person and was my mentor and leader. He's retired now, but for so many years. And you can't help but kind of be in his presence and follow his path. You can't help but do that when you're around him. So I hope that in a, is small way that I've been able to kind of take his presence and make sure that I'm now the carrier of that, if you will. I asked him one time, it's kind of off topic, but I asked him one time, we're always going to conferences and classes and reading books. And, we're always trying to do the Cody thing of trying to figure out how to make ourselves better and how to do more and be more. Right. And I asked him one day, this was late in his career. I said, where do you go? So many people come to you in our company, in our industry, and your neighbors or your church. I see so many people come to you, and he had already by that point in his career lost a lot of his mentors. I said, where do you go? What brings you, like, how do you keep yourself motivated? And he said something that, again, we've got it up on the wall now in the office. It's an old Zig Ziglar quote, but you can have everything in life that you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And we love that. And we've kind of lived by that. But his answer to me was, he now had accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish from a career standpoint, from an industry standpoint, from a business standpoint, from an income standpoint, to getting his company to where it was. Now his greatest joy comes from helping others do the same to get to that same point. So again, it's a Zig Ziglar line, but we McNerney it up here because Dan taught that, embodied that, and now hopefully I've carried that torch of bringing significance to others is the greatest way that you can continue to go down your path. So we certainly live and die by that for sure.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing to add too. Well, I know I could ask you questions about you and the company and everything you are doing. I could pick your brain for literally days on end, and we'd get a lot of amazing content. Maybe we shouldn't stop that. However, I do know that we want to make sure you wanted to make sure you shared some of the misconceptions in the market today that can really bring value and help agents get them thinking outside the box a little bit. So I'd love for you to jump in and kind of share some of those, and we'll kind of go back and forth on some of that.
Yeah. So when we first started talking about this idea and this discussion we get to have today, Cody, I started going down the traditional path of all the things we do as an FMO and all the ways that we support an agent. And I ripped that up and threw it away and thought, you know what, the agents that are listening today need to hear some of the things that are myths about an FMO. So all the wonderful things we do, happy to spend hours or days with anybody talking about that. But I think I want to go first, dig a little deeper into what some of the myths of what an FMO really is. And one of the things that we always talk about is usually when you hear or you see chatter or you hear people talking about an FMO, it usually comes down to what's my contract level? What's the commission level? How do I get more commission dollars? Do you have free leads?
Yes.
All those things are important. I'm not denying all that. And we do all of that as well. But I think what so many agents get wrong, and this is the point that I really want to make sure that agents are truly writing this down and taking note of this. What most agents get wrong is they do not realize that the day they get their insurance license is the day they open their very own business. So many agents don't think of that. Most agents get into this business. Why, Cody? Why do most people go get an insurance license?
Yeah, to make money.
Make money, right? Make money, maybe make an impact, sell insurance, learn about it. And that's fine. And that is definitely what we want you to do. We want to help you do more of that. But you're really, no matter where you take that license, you're opening your own business. And that business is Cody Askins Insurance, Joanne Ray Insurance, whatever name you want to put on it, even if it's, best value insurance, it doesn't matter. That's your business. That's your name and that's your legacy. And I think what we like to do is we take the entire business model. So let's say you were going to open a coffee shop today, Cody. What are 2 or 3 things that you think you would need if you're going to open a coffee shop?
Logo, website, and some coffee.
You need some coffee. That's a good one. And so all those things that you would think of if you're selling something tangible, like a cup of coffee, or you're a roofing company, and all the different things that you think of when you're a business. When you're an insurance agent, everything we sell is so intangible. It's a promise, right? It's a hope. It's a transaction, but I don't have anything tangible to give you other than the policy binder that says some company in Des Moines, Iowa is going to do something when you need them to do it. That's the promise. So I think that's probably why a lot of agents don't think about the brick and mortar type of building and business that they're opening. So we like to look at the whole business. So, and kind of maybe a morbid or maybe a backwards way of thinking about it is when we sit down with an agent, we actually start with the end in mind. Why are you doing this?
I like that.
So let's begin with the end in mind. I can guarantee you every agent listening to this right now and all of their licensed friends do not have their contracts set up properly. Guarantee you. Because we work with them every single day. We know what the biggest mistakes are. We know what the biggest pitfalls are. If you are an insurance agent, you own your own business. You own that income. If you fall off a cliff or you decide to retire many, 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 many times, no matter what attorney or accountant you've been to set up, a lot of times the insurance carrier contracts are not going to be set up properly so that you can transfer that business on. So again, it may sound like a weird way to start a business relationship, but we're going to begin with the end in mind of why are you doing this? Let's make sure that your business, your name, your family's, financial now and future. Let's make sure that you've got everything set up right. So that's kind of where we start. And then we like to sit down with an agent, just like if they were going to open up the coffee shop. And we talk about all the things that we think we know you need to have if you're going to start your own business in this industry. What is your advertising budget? Who's doing your social media? Where are you going to have a brick and mortar? Are you going to have an assistant? Are you going to get an 800 number? Are you expecting people to call your cell phone? All the things that go into, and all agents want to talk about is what's my contract level? What are my commissions? When am I going to get paid? And that we're going to get to that. That's fine. And you have to kind of dance that dance with the agent, because we're not their, many times we're working with agents that have never met us. So we've got to earn their trust, right? So that's first and foremost. We're going to do what we say we're going to do. We're going to do it faster, friendlier than any other FMO out there. But a lot of times we've got to earn that agent's trust first. And then we sit down with them. And we've got all sorts of different teams and departments that work with our agents, from contracting to commissions to kind of our white glove support team and all the things that they do to support these agents, to make sure that they understand that this truly is a business that they've started. And any business that you start, you've got to figure out how it's going to keep going. If you, Cody Askins, are the only one bringing revenue into your company, then we've got to figure out what's going to happen next, right? There's a lot of nexts in your career. So we like to think that we're there for all the next. Whatever's going to happen next, we can help you get through that. So
I love that.
I'll take a breath and let you go.
That's good. That's really, really good. Because you're right. We do tend to think very short term.
Yep.
Instead of stopping and saying, okay, short term is important, but if it takes me an extra few hours, days, weeks, it's not going to kill me. And at the end of the day, everything's going to be better set up.
Right.
I'm going to be happier long term. Yeah.
And you've probably read all the Simon Sinek books, but I follow Simon on.
That's an impressive dude. Oh my God.
Right. Wow. I love that guy, and I love his way of thinking, but he talks about the finite versus the infinite game, right? And this game of life is kind of what he's referring to. But the career, your insurance business, your insurance career, your insurance license, it's not the finite game. We're not worried about this week, this month, this quarter, this AEP, whatever. When we're planning our whole strategy, you've got to think about this is the infinite game, and you've got to think about what's going to happen next and what's going to happen in your career when this happens. And, we talk a lot about change, and we live in a world of constant change. Every product that we have on our shelves that agents can write for their seniors are dictated by something that happens in Washington, D.C. in most cases. And or our capital. That's very scary. To think about that anything can change on a dime. And so we have a lot of conversations with making sure that you're prepared for that next change, because we understand it's going to change. We just don't know what's going to come next, but we know something's going to change. So if your business is protected, then your income is protected and your family is protected. Going out just worrying about what sales I'm going to make this week for my paycheck this week, you may be missing a whole lot of things that are going to get thrown your way that's going to throw you off track. And then that check isn't even going to be there, let alone the next and the next and the next and the next. So we talk a lot about the infinite game and how that's how we look at our career. That's how we look at our industry. Medicare has like one of the greatest runways in front of us. I've laughed that since I started in the early 90s that Medicare is going broke. Medicare is going to be changing drastically. And here we are today, couldn't be stronger, couldn't be more people, obviously with the baby boomers coming into the space, more agents, thanks to people like yourself that are bringing more agents into this industry, that are loving this thing called Medicare. You've made it fun again, and you've helped all of us to kind of create this culture and this energy again of this is a wonderful career to be in. Like I said, you're making an impact while you're making a great income. And if you get the right partner, which we feel like that's what we do, then this is going to be something that's going to be even bigger than you could have ever imagined. No doubt about it. Yes. Why else from the Medicare piece? Like, I know y'all do a lot, but that's a clear focal point of what you do. Yep. Well, there's a lot of agents that maybe are giving it a look that haven't before, or they just haven't considered it yet. Maybe they're doing well and, they never will. However, for those that are like, I would love a, peek behind the curtain, so to speak, on what that niche is like. Yeah. Well, one, it's been our staple since day one. So since our company, like I said, Senior Marketing Specialist was formed in 1995. Our parent company actually started in 1978. So we've learned it's always been ingrained in us, and it's always been Medicare. But I would say the answer to that question to your audience, Cody, is do you want a client or do you want a customer? Right? Do you want a policy holder or do you want an app today? Like what are you after? If you're after a bunch of apps, write whatever product you want to write and we can help you. If you want customers and you want clients and you want lifelong clients, Medicare is where it all starts. If you talk to any senior or anybody, any of us, what is the insurance policy that you pick up the most?
Yeah.
It's your health insurance policy, right?
Yes.
Because it's got your dental on it, probably got your eye for that visit. Every time you go to urgent care, you pull out that health insurance card. Every time you have to, God forbid, go to the hospital, the ER. But it's the one that gets used the most. Prescriptions, again, that same card, it keeps getting used. Life insurance, you're never going to pull that card out. That's your family. So you want to make sure that that's taken care of. But you're not usually considered, and this is typically, their agent. They don't think of that agent that's only selling them one product unless it's the portfolio of products. Then you're considered their agent. So that's why because Medicare is the core of everything. Everything is built around that Medicare supplement or that Medicare Advantage or that health insurance if you're under 65. That is the core. That's where it all starts. And then everything else kind of works around that, from the financial products, the life and annuity, to the cancer insurance. You got to make sure that it correlates with all the other products. So we've just always felt and have taught our agents by watching that's what consumers pick up the most. So it's what you think of the most. It's what you use the most. When you use a card out of your wallet more, it's more front of mind, right? If you've never pulled that particular card out of your wallet and somebody else comes along with something that sounds better, you're much more likely to switch. Because I haven't really used that. I haven't tested them yet. You get somebody who, especially a senior, who has used their Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage card, and it did what they said it was going to do. That's a lot harder to move, right? Because they've now proven that trust that you, the agent, tried to deliver or tell them was going to happen. So when it actually does happen, then that's going to be a lot harder to move. Right. And that's going to be your customer for life versus an application that you picked up along the way.
Yes. That's good. That makes a ton of sense. And there's so much in it that's available to help everyone from a Medicare standpoint. That's huge.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, the numbers are staggering. I don't have to tell you, the numbers are staggering of those coming into Medicare, those on Medicare. Everybody's living longer, so your renewals are lasting longer. It is definitely, like I said, the runway has never, ever, ever looked so good as it does right now on Medicare.
Yeah. What have we not shared in closing that you would like to share? This has been super informative, a ton of fun. Can't believe it's almost 30 minutes already. Like this is why we could sit here for hours, And while you're thinking about that, I do want to mention to the audience one more time that, hey, if you really enjoyed today and you want to get to know JoAnn or team more, they do have a separate piece of content on how to use 4 steps to go from agency to empire with the director of training and education, Olivia Richardson. That link is below if you want to check that out. But what else have we not mentioned or that you would like to share that we haven't?
So I appreciate that, Cody. I think just to kind of wrap up, we talked about some big, heavy things today, like the lifespan of your career and why Medicare. Those are kind of the big topics that can sit on the shelf and you don't have to talk about every day. The day-to-day stuff, though, is we can spend a little bit of time on that. That's what's everybody's mind right now, where we're setting is looking at what are my appointments today? What do I need to have done before tomorrow? What's my income this month? So everybody, and we realize that we want to look at the big picture, but we realize everybody's kind of got this, right here in front of me mindset today. So we've built those teams as well. So whether it's getting contracted correctly, whether it's making sure we have people, I keep pointing out here because I'm sitting in our studio right outside our support team. We have people that literally study all day long, every single product in every area to make sure that when an agent calls, whether it's in California, Florida, New York, Idaho, or Columbia, Missouri, right here where we sit, they understand the product, they understand the market, they understand the climate, they understand what's going on with providers. And that's expertise that you don't need to worry about yourself. We have a whole team of people that do nothing but that. We have a whole team of people that do nothing but understand all the different carriers. That's a whole different school of thought, right? All the carriers are so different. Their rules, their procedures, how to enroll, how to fix a bank draft, all, from those little things all the way up to making sure you're running your business properly. And we like to do it with everything we call ACE around here. It was a program that we created. It's called Amazing Customer Experience, or ACE.
Mm.
And everything. And I use the word, we chose each of those 3 words very specifically, very mindfully. The last one being the most important, which is an experience. When you think about the last time you went into anywhere, whether it be a Starbucks or you used Amazon, those are usually the 2 that come up when you think about a great experience. It's usually not something you can put your finger on. Usually people have to think for a while about, does Starbucks really have the greatest coffee? I certainly don't think so. But there's something about being there. It's the experience, right? It's the service. It's Chick-fil-A. Same thing.
Yeah.
Chicken sandwich. Lots of chicken sandwiches in town, right?
Love Chick-fil-A though. Yeah.
Right. So why do you think you do? Why do you think you gravitate toward Chick-fil-A?
Extremely friendly and very fast.
Right. That's really all you need in a drive-through service, right? So we try to apply that too. We think we can be all things to all agents, but really in the thick of the day, they want what they called in today about fixed, or they want it, whatever problem they had, they want something solved, and they want it done friendly, and they want it done quickly.
Yeah.
So that's, we try to make sure that we're encompassing the ACE model. And it's really about that experience, because we understand agents have a choice every single day. They have a choice in what they sell. They have a choice in who they sell it with. They certainly have a choice in which FMO to partner with. So we have to make sure that we are doing everything we can and then some to make sure that we're that choice to help those agents through the good times, the crazy times, the bad times, the pivotal times. We got a whole compliance team of people that, again, our compliance officer studies everything that's happening in our industry, everything that's happening in Washington. So you don't have to, but yet you get the benefit of that. So we try to do that in every area of our company, and do it, like you said, very friendly, with a lot of manners, and very quickly.
Yes, I love that. So good. Well, I always love spending time with you.
Yeah, you too,
I
Cody.
appreciate you sharing everything today. What you are doing is phenomenal. Y'all help agents in a huge, massive, incredible way with the ACE experience, which I like. That's a cool little touch.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing today. Also, thank Olivia for putting together that.
Thank you. Oh,
video.
yeah. Everybody be sure to check out the video. It goes into a lot more detail with the 4 points that she's talking about.
Yes, so you can check out that below. But Joanne, thank you so much. Appreciate you being on today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Been a lot of fun. Thanks, Cody.
That's right. You guys have an amazing, phenomenal rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
There's a lot of agents out there, man, that they want to sell with a phone. I think a lot of you, listening, you would love to do that. But they just struggle to do it. They're like, I don't have the perfect script. I don't know what to say when they want me to mail them stuff. Or I've always done face-to-face sales. And so this